Now that we've finished with what we need to in Chapter 1, we're going to move into Chapter 2. Looking at the units that are in Chapter 2, what you can see is that it goes over mass, volume, density, graphing. We are only going to tackle 2.4 solving problems for right now. We're going to come back to a few of these other ones throughout the year, so don't think I'm just leaving them out. We will return to these, and specifically we're going to come back to graphing pretty readily. But for now, let's talk a little bit about solving problems, because this is an essential skill that you're going to use throughout the remainder of this year. We're going to use what we learn in this chapter nearly every single day for the rest of the year. So, your learning goals. Let's take a look. You're only going to need to use one learning goal from this section. You don't have to worry about that second bullet. The only one that we're going to work with is applying a 4-step technique to solve problems. So make sure you write down that first bullet. So there is a 4-step technique that you will all use in order to solve problems. Ones that we've already done, we're going to apply the decimal point rule, and we're going to see dimensional analysis a bit with this, and in the future we're going to use equations and apply this principle to it. So the steps to solving problems, there are 4. What are you looking for? What are you given? What are the relationships? And what's the solution? Specifically, in what you're looking for, that's asking, what is the problem asking for? And you need to figure out exactly what variables or values you need to be in your answer. What you're given, you need to say, okay, what information are you given? Sometimes this includes numbers or values, and other times it includes descriptive information to interpret. From there, you've got to determine the relationship. What relationship exists between what you are asked to find and what you're given? So here's an example. Suppose you're given mass and volume and you're asked to find density. The relationship that's used, you guys might have used this before, is density is mass divided by volume. And lastly, you need to combine those relationships with what you knew to find out what you're asked for. And once you complete steps 1 through 3, you're going to actually be able to solve and see how to solve most of those problems. So let's take a look at an example. So what I've drawn here on the board is what a problem-solving box looks like. It's got 3 sections over here on the left. You're looking for, you're given, and your relationships, as we just discussed. And it's got one bigger side over here that's for your solution. Now, take a look for a moment at what the boxes you'll be using look like. Exact same. I'm going to give these to you guys. You'll use them throughout the year working on problems. Okay, so let's use an example to figure this out. The example that I'm going to use, and I'm going to display it, or it's displayed for you right now, is a solid rubber stopper has a mass of 33 grams and a volume of 30 cubic centimeters. And we want to determine what's the density of rubber. So, what you have to do is you have to figure out, to begin with, what are you looking for, and you're going to write it in the box. So going back to the question, what are we looking for? What is the density of rubber? So what I'm going to write up in this box is the density. I want to know the density. All right, let's see what we have. What are we given? Well, solid rubber stopper, mass of 33 grams and a volume of 30 cubic centimeters. So let's write that down in the box over here. The mass, which we're going to abbreviate with a little m, we'll use it throughout the year more, is equal to, that's right, 33 grams. The volume, which is going to be a capital V, is equal to 30.0 cubic centimeters. Awesome. Now you just need to figure out what's the relationship. So the relationship in this instance is going to be your density equals mass divided by the volume. Awesome. Good job. Now we're going to move into the solution. We have what we're looking for. We have what we're given. That's the relationship we need to plug in and solve. We start off by rewriting the equation. Density equals mass divided by volume. Then we plug in what we know. So density equals mass is 33 grams, volume next, divided by, like right up here, volume. Volume is 30.0 cubic centimeters. Always write your units in, extremely, extremely important. Okay, where do we go from here? Well, now we just have to do a little bit of simple math on a calculator. So our density will equal, what's 33 divided by 30? I'm going to give you guys a minute to figure that out. Think about it. Pause if you need to. Figure it out yet? Plug it into your calculator, 33 divided by 30, and you're going to get to 1.1. And what happens is the reason we write units in is because the units will carry down. So the units for density are going to be grams per cubic centimeter. You see how this right here is just grams / centimeters cubed? Well, that's it right there. And then you finish off the problem by just boxing your answer, telling me that's your answer, that's what you're happy with, that's what you want. So that's the only example I'm going to do for right now. In another video, we're going to go over some extra practice for this. We're going to plug in some examples that we've already used and see how this box works. And again, we're going to use this throughout the year. So it will become very familiar very soon.